Anybody got anything for Michael?
On the lip funding, is that based on your documented amount of people that the hospital has actually seen as far as
Yes.
indigent people?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Morning, Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Reporting on May, even though this is July this morning, but reporting on May's financials, if you'll look at the first pages of the balance sheet, I want to talk a couple minutes about cash and then see if you have any questions. Like Mike said, we did get $111,000 of lip payment and dish payment in the end of June, which covers the last quarter. We also got a part of our cost report settlement for 2016, a temporary settlement this in the month of June, so June's cash will be a little bit better. You see we've got 7.5 days of cash on hand. As of this last time we finished payroll, we still had about 6 days of cash on hand after that. So to put this in perspective, for us, 1 day cash is about $23,000. And how I arrive at that is I go back and look at the past 3 months and just average what we have to pay to our vendors and to payroll. And so that's how I determine that. You can see the other ratios there at the bottom of the page. Accounts receivable days came in at 83 in May. We have gone back and looked. We have had some good Medicare payments lately, which has been long been awaited for. I can't really say for sure, I can't guarantee you that all the problems are smoothing out and we're going forward, but we're working diligently on it. So there's going to be some more ups and downs, but right now the trend is upwards as far as Medicare and commercial payments coming in for us. Second page, real quickly, you see our units, the hospital, the EMS, and the clinics broken out by individually. You'll see a $25,000 overall profit for the month. Again, and the $126,000 in the red through May. This is through 8 months. Are there any questions I can address now?
Is that both clinics put together?
Yes, sir. There's another page further back in the report that separates the two clinics, but right on this page that you're looking at right now, that's both of them together. As they say, volume cures a lot of ills, so once that volumes increase, that will begin to look better also.
Mr. John, I know that you've got a certain way of doing things, but it would be a good thing for me, I don't know how anybody else feels about it on here, if you would separate those clinics and let's just see how many patients and how much money there, how many patients and how much money there. And then that way we could tell what's going on here.
All right, I can do that.
Can you do that? I mean, you don't have to do it, you know, I know that you've got reporting, a different style of reporting than.
Well, right now, all this that I put together is manual, so I can do it any way you want it.
Yeah.
The last page there is the two clinics broken out with everything you're asking for, except for the volumes.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be hard to do. Be happy to do that.
And like I said, I'm gonna say again, I wish there was a way that you could separate in the general fund or out from the general fund, the operating money for the ambulance and the, you know, the clinic, because I think until you do that, you're not gonna get a real true picture of what your general revenue, the actual hospital is bringing in. And we really need those numbers, you know, when we go to final decision on whether to build or not to build. So
Okay.
we're gonna build something, but it would help us look at what we need to do, what areas we need to look at there. But if you can do that, Mr. John, I would appreciate it.
You take all the money and just put it in one fund, like with ambulance, all the runs.
Yes, sir, we have one operating account right now.
It goes into the hospital account.
Yeah.
So-
General fund.
General fund.
Yeah. What this would involve would be just setting up another bank account.
Because I know the ambulance stays busy, you know.
Mhm.
I'd like to know what they make, you know, see how good the ambulance service does. because I know they stay busy.
Okay.
Well, the ambulance taking care of itself. Mr. Chairman. Is that you, so far the ambulance taking care of itself? Or
Yes, sir.
This month?
Yes, sir.
All right. What I'd like to see, I mean, I want to see a breakdown, really, a couple of things like that. That what y'all talking about, that'll be good. East, west, ambulance. And I also need to see a breakdown of the money will come in the surtax with billing part. I want to know the difference in billing part and the part with the hospital. It
You want-
would be 50-50. I mean, it might be 60-40 now.
You wanting to see where the cash comes from operations and then from,
Now, what I want to do, I want to separate them where billing form will be over here and operation form will be there.
Yeah.
I want to know the difference. I want that split so we can,
okay,
I need to look at all that. It'll be better for me at least. I mean, I don't know about the rest of them, but I can do it better.
I agree with you, Mr. Noah. I agree with you. Because we do need to know how much money, because see, that money, that 50% for operations of the hospital goes automatically into the hospital.
Right.
We don't see that. It automatically goes there when, when they allocate it. And the only monies we see in the trust fund is the capital outlay, money. So, I agree with you on that.
And that's my thing, if I get up there, then it's just information purpose.
anything else?
I said, I just want you to get me what the fellas, I want to see what the ambulance does. I know they stay busy, and I know the money gets moved over into the health, other areas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Because some of these boys is working for some low wages that
I
should,
think
you
they're
know,
all, I'm gonna
have
tell you,
some-
I'm gonna make a statement right here because I was gonna make it later on, but I'm gonna make it right now. I think they're, in comparison to what paramedics and EMT makes in other counties, I think they're very well underpaid.
They are. That's the reason I want to see what they making. Because I know they do good with the ambulance. But some of them way underpaid.
And I'm gonna just throw that out there. Neither here nor there, but we have our comments to be able to make. But, and also, I do want to thank all the people that works in the Weems family and all the other EMTs and paramedics. They all give their best, and we appreciate that.
Anybody got anything, Mr. John? Thank you, Mr. John. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back. Board of County Commissioners now back in session.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Lisa Britz is here, and she's ready to approach the board.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for having me back again.
Yes, ma'am.
It's been a while, but I have a plan. And after meeting with several different organizations, both within and surrounding your community, we've decided that it's best to have our request for proposals separated so that we have one for our Community Care for the Elderly program, which is the bulk of your home and community-based services, and then a separate RFP for the Older Americans Act, which is primarily your home-delivered meals and congregate meal programs and other senior service supportive services. So our plan is, within the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing the request for proposals for our Community Care for the Elderly program that will designate a lead agency for your community. I have conducted a workshop back in April. As a result of that, we had several people that attended, and we continue to receive some feedback and questions from many different organizations. So I anticipate we'll at least have competition among at least 2, maybe 3 providers for your community, which to say there's competition in your community at all, I think is a great accomplishment of all of our parts. So what I'm here today to ask is, in your 2015-16 budget, you allocated $16,215 for, you tag it as Meals on Wheels, but as I clarified earlier this year, when we looked at the breakdown of the match, it actually is a 10% match for our Community Care for the Elderly and our Older Americans Act. So total, you have a little bit above 10% for both those programs. What I would like to request for your consideration is that when we release this request for a proposal for Community Care for the Elderly, it will be for January through June 30. It's January 1 through June 30. Our contract year with the state for that program is actually July 1 through June 30. So we're looking at 6 months. If that provider does perform well, then of course we'll renew the contract, and then it'll be a 12-month period. And our Older Americans Act, when we put that program out for bid, it will be in the spring, and that will be for July through December. Now, that program runs an actual calendar year, January through December. So again, 6 months and then an additional year, and we'll be back on track with our funding cycle. But I'd like for your consideration to, the current provider is Liberty County Senior Citizens for your Older Americans Act. If they do not bid on your Community Care for the Elderly program, then you'll have at least two different providers. And I'd like for you to consider allocating at least 10% of what you're currently budgeting for Meals on Wheels to go to Liberty County to continue to provide meals for your community, and the other 10% to be designated to whoever the new designated lead agency will be, and we'll be able to tell you that at the end of September. We'll be able to tell you who that contract is going to be awarded to.
In other words, you're asking for the whole thing, but you want half to go.
Two different providers, yep, for you to split it down, two different providers.
Okay, so that's the 16,000 for what we call the Meals on Wheels.
You have it as Meals on Wheels, but it's actually going for Meals on Wheels and home-based services.
Okay, now, so since we're getting a RFP for lead agency, we have two other places we fund right now. Won't say where, but, and what the board wanted to do originally, have one lead agency, we fund them with everything, and then everybody works through that lead agency. Will that be able to work out? So, because 2 weeks from today, we have our first budget workshop.
I would not have any fiduciary oversight, so that would be a decision that the commission certainly would, I would encourage you certainly to consider it, but that lead agency, how they budget that money would have to be between you and the commission and that lead agency.
Yeah, I was just asking,
Yes.
we will have that lead agency in place, because that was the plan, if I understand the board correctly, that's what we wanted to
That's
do.
right.
One lead agency, we fund that lead agency
And everything
with
be
all the
flowing
money.
through that.
And then that lead agency then disperses throughout the community based on who provides whatever services, correct?
Well, that's correct, Mike, but it's getting a little convoluted here. You need to make sure you understand exactly what she's saying. So when you
Yeah.
come to the budget hearings, you could tell us where this money's going. If the county's supposed to hang on to it and supply 10% here and 10% there.
Yeah.
I mean, how's this all gonna work? Because what she's saying is this lead agency may not be over everything.
Correct.
She's doing an RFP for one, and she's doing an RFP for
another,
the
yeah.
other. So if we're gonna put the money to the lead agency, then we got to stipulate what they're to do with it.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, we can
Exactly.
give it to a lead agency, that's fine, but the money's gotta be used to fund these two different programs. It could be two different agencies or two different entities providing these services.
Yeah.
So we as a board have got to know when we put money to a lead agency, that we got to give them the details of what that money's going for, what it's to be used for, and that's the way it's gotta be used. You see what I'm saying? So we need
Exactly.
more, I guess you'd say staff leadership to make recommendations to this board. I don't mind allocating the money to one agency, but we gotta have stipulations in that contract with that agency as to what those monies can be used for.
Yeah. So we-
Is that, am I saying that right, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, so we don't end up where we are.
We just don't wanna give them the money and then they do what they want to, because
We end
we
up
got
where we
these
are
other
now.
obligations
Okay.
that we're gonna have to fulfill. So we need to know exactly, you need to get with her, and make sure we're all on the same page, and we can't really do that until we get the lead agency, and we get, if it's gonna be one entity running everything, or two different entities running everything.
Yeah.
But we got to provide the lead agency direction of what the funds are to be used for.
And I can tell you that whoever requests to bid on the programs will have to come before you with match commitment paper, so you'll have a better understanding once the request for proposal is released.
And the one provider, I make sure the other provider will be able to get their money from my provider, they don't get, you know what I'm saying?
Correct. Liberty County has agreed to continue to provide meals through June of next year. That will give me time to put together a quality request for proposal and work with potential providers in your community.
So what I'm saying, Mike, is you need to get with her and give us a breakdown
Mm-hmm.
of exactly everything she's telling us, put it in a paper form or send it on an email.
I will.
Where we can actually see.
The money and
We're
all.
gonna allocate X amount of dollars
Yeah.
and kinda how all this stuff's gonna play out.
'Cause-
This year, we're still working on last year's budget, so we're good. What we're looking for is what we're gonna do from October 1 forward.
Yeah.
And so the clerk has clarification, we have clarification of where the money's going, who it's being allocated to, and for what.
Because basically, she's telling me, all you're talking about today is that one allocation we call, again, Meals on Wheels. You're saying, let's divide that. The other two allocations, you're saying, look, that you have that to do with you.
I'm saying I
That's
would
the
love for
board.
our agency to have the money, but I don't have fiduciary oversight, so
I
I
got you.
definitely need you all to consider what's
Right.
best for your community.
I got you, but I just need a better breakdown from you, just so I
Yes.
can be able to.
I would
relate
like
it
to
the
definitely
board.
preserve
I
the
got you.
tagged item right now.
And what, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
But, what I need to know is, on this money we giving, is we giving this money for the people, or is we giving this money for salary to whoever's doing it? Yeah, I'm thinking, I think it should be.
Services.
It does go into services, absolutely, 100% into
Services and not
services.
100%
administration,
services?
is what you're
Yes.
saying.
yeah, it goes
Okay.
to 100%, okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
And we'll put that too in our write-up for whoever gets the money. That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, so this, Michael, I'm sort of thinking out loud here. The Tuesday of July 19th, you have a budget workshop, and on that afternoon, you'll be doing your non-governmentals first.
Which is to be one of them.
Which will be one of them. So basically, I think the board will be allocating a certain amount of money, not necessarily knowing who's gonna get it.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
That's right.
Yeah, basically, we're allocating a holding. Yes.
Right, until the
Allocating but not
RFPs
expending,
and all that is
basically. We're
done.
not committing,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. That's-
And most of this is
Does the
volunteer
economic
work
knowledge.
anyway, right?
Volunteer base needs to be developed, and I understand, I want to commend your community for, you have several active members in your community that are coming forward and developing that volunteer base. But that would be additional match, they're in kind.
Okay.
And Michael, I can provide those figures to you by next Friday.
Yeah, and exactly a breakdown of, I hate to keep saying this, but the Meals on Wheels one, and then I can figure out the other one, asking you some questions.
Okay?
Okay?
Look, May I ask you a
I'm sorry.
question, man?
Yes.
How y'all come up with it be better to split it? I mean, what make,
In talking to different entities within your community, nobody's expressed an interest to jump forward and take it all. So I'm not saying that in the future that can't happen, but at this time, we want to start slow, and that's the feeling that I get in reciprocation from those that we've talked to in your community.
Some of them may have expertise in this, but not expertise in that, and that's the reason it could be split the way she's talking about.
There are a lot of requirements, federal requirements and state requirements for managing a meals program. Pretty much with your home-based services, it's pretty straightforward.
It's a big role.
My preference, of course, would be to have them co-located, and maybe we can move toward that, but right now, my primary goal is to make sure that your clients are being served in your community.
And at some point, the board always likes that we trend towards a local provider, because we feel a local provider knows our people, knows, what we really need, and so, I realize there's no local preference in the RFP, but,
We
we can just hope for the best.
we have actually expressed that,
Oh. good.
and that definitely will give points if you're locally based.
But I'm in agreement with Mr. Noah that it needs to be for services to the elderly and not for administrative costs.
Yeah, it does not go towards administrative. And you could clarify that in your match commitment.
Okay.
another thing, well, see, on this Meals on Wheel part, what people got to realize is that you dealing with 65, 70 miles, a good 65 miles every day you cross this county. And that means if one patient, if one of your customers live on the other end of the county, just one, you got to provide it. And with the state cutting so much of the money, it's gonna be hard.
And that is what's being expressed to us, trying to figure out how to serve both ends of the community. definitely a challenge.
Might be one on this end, might be one up.
I don't know how wide our county is what, probably close to 60, 100 miles from that area?
60 something.
I know it's 30 miles from Carabel to Appalachian, you got 13 miles, and you got Alligator Point.
Yeah, and that's just it, we tend to forget about Alligator
Right.
Point.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay,
Got to do the warming kitchen first?
Yeah, so all these bids were due last Friday, so the timeline was to be last Friday, not I can read. Right, so this one is, the first one you're opening is, tell them who it is. Oh, you'll need to, well, you got the envelope. Oh, let's see who it is.
Open it up.
Oh,
Make it easy.
all right, will you rip the, all right, this one is the first bid for warming kitchens from a company called Kitchen Hoods Unlimited out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Kitchen Hoods Unlimited out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And the bid is for, he's got big handwriting here, so let me make sure I can read it right. $21,441. $21,441. Is that what that looks like to you?
21441, correct.
He didn't say within the lines, he or she, whoever it was. Okay. The second one is from Douglas Equipment out of Bluefield, West Virginia. Douglas Equipment out of Bluefield, West Virginia. And this one is $23,711.09. $23,711.09. The last one is out of Strategic Equipment out of Albany, Georgia. Strategic Equipment out of Albany, Georgia. And what was the first one? The bid here, grand total we wrote down is $22,066.02. $22,066.02. I recommend you turn this over to Mark Harringen and the committee for, make sure that the low bid is consistent with what we requested, and come back with a recommendation for the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Return
Motion second for all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to know how to get to 9 and 2%, why they don't round it off.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? 2%, 9 cents. Why not just call it $12, $67?
Commissioner, on a closed bid, that could make a difference.
Well, I guess so.
No sense.
Real quick, Alan, if I might, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
These bids that we received is for equipment only. It has to be installed also.
Installation.
Oh, this is installed pricing?
Yes, to my
Okay.
knowledge, I know one of them I looked at, it had labor separated out.
It's supposed to be installed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, one of them
And
had
this
labor
will
installed, we'll
complete-
verify that.
This will
yeah.
complete the money.
Just to complete what we need in the warming kitchen, I
That's
mean, you
what
can
I'm
always
saying.
use
This
more
will
money.
complete that part of it.
Yes,
Part of
yes,
stage,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it was back in the
Please.
minutes, a couple of meetings ago, it was supposed to be completed when they left out.
Right, but the warming kitchen was not part of the initial bid, we took that out because we didn't have enough money, and now
We put it back
back
in.
in.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But basically, the contractor didn't want to do the warming kitchen, so we finished with him, he's out of the way, and we're handling this separately.
Okay.
All right, the next one is lighting upgrades for the airport, and there are two bids. The first one is TCA Electrical Contractors out of Omega, Georgia. TCA Electrical Contractors out of Omega, Georgia. Let's see, this is a big one here. Okay, there are many components here, so let me just make sure. Last page. There's one amount there, let me make sure. Okay, that's one amount, let me make sure it's not. Okay. Yes, there apparently is a base bid and then an alternate amount, so I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
read out
hate
both.
those.
The base bid is $893,670 even, so they did round up for you. $893,670 even, that's the base bid. There's an alternate one, $537,535.95. So 537, 535, and 95 cents for a total bid amount of $1,431,205 and 95 cents. $1,431,205 and 95 cents. Okay,
That they told?
that's their total of the base bid and the alternate. That's the total. So
That
that's,
is the total.
that's the total. That's, but I mean, if there's not enough money, then we delete the alternate. That's what happens. All right, so that was bid number one. Bid number two is Pole Owners Construction out of Apalachicola. Pole Owners Construction out of Apalachicola. Let's see here. Okay, his base amount is $1,446,224.04. That's the base amount, $1,446,224.04. His alternate one is $934,409.27. $934,409.27 for a total bid of $2,380,633.31. $2,380,633.31. So I'm going to turn it over to John Collins and the AdCom for evaluation and come back.
It's only two bids we had?
Only two bids you had. So this is airport, this is grant money, and we'll just have to do what we, you know, but anyway, we're recommending turn it over to AdCom for an evaluation and come back with recommendation.
So moved. Turn it over.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, visiting time for them, go to Marshall, because it's ain't time for the public hearings.
I don't have a report this morning.
You don't have nothing?
I have something, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to just recognize Marcia Johnson. She's been voted on as the first vice president for the Clerks and Comptrollers Association for the state of Florida. We want to say thank you for representing us in the small counties. So we love that. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You get this on this round?
Yeah, starting July 1st.
Okay.